Mi vida la vivo plena. Mi mochila, mi compañera, y así me lleva a vivir esta aventura.
Good morning. You're listening to Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie. Every Friday at 8 a.m., I will be here on KKNW 1150 a.m., and I will be introducing you to people, places, and activities that will lift your spirits. The song you just heard is from Luke and the Lovingtons. I'm going to talk about them a little bit later, but that song will be playing throughout the show, and I just want you to listen to the words, and I have a story, too, to tell. Last week, we went to the big island of Hawaii and visited a Hawaiian Island retreat, and we talked to Jeannie Sutherland, and our spirit-lifting activity was music. So we talked to Christopher, and in the Seattle Natural Awakenings magazine this month, there's an article on page 18. It says, "Live Your Song. It keeps us in tune with ourselves." Just a brief little part of that quote. "Life always reminds us when we are and when we are not in tune with ourselves. When we feel good, we're matching our song. If we just keep singing, we'll find our way home." And I've been singing my own song for quite a while. And you know what? There's no place like home. And I can feel it in my heart. My heart's open. Life is good. I did have a really good week, and I had a great Friday. Last Friday, I spent the day with friends and family, ended my day at Soul Food Bookstore. I had such a wonderful day that I sat in the back. I went there to listen to Sea Star, one of my favorite bands, and I snuck in, and I got in this big old chair, and I just sat there because I was absorbing what happened that day and how awesome it was. And I see Faye. She's tuning up. She can't see me. I'm like, yeah, I'll just sit back here for a while. And then I hear, Dina Marie's in the house. And she's tuning up to her guitar. And I'm, yay, here I am. So I wave. And then there were some people there that knew me. They came over and they started talking to me. And they'd actually heard about it on Facebook. So, always share. Make sure you share. Last minute, people will show up. So we're sitting there listening to Faye, my favorite singer of all times, and Celtic band from Sea Star. And my friend Sherry whispers in my ear and she says, "So how do you know Faye?" And I say, "Well, let me think." You look up and you're like, "I have no idea." "I know her because of you." And she goes, "What?" I said, "You called me 5 years ago because you saw me at East West Bookstore and you said, your voice told me, my voice says to call Dina Marie. I don't know why." So we spent like a half hour talking, getting to know each other. 3 months later, she opened up a healing center. She invited me to do some work there. Had a great day. And then she said, "Dina, you got to stop by Bothell Country Village and see Claudia O'Malley and Potter's Feel Good Products because she sells rocks. It's 85 degrees. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I want to go home to my swimming pool." And I leave very hot and sweaty in my car, and I hear my voice say, "Take a left." And I'm like, "No." And it does do it just like that. Take a left. So I go in to see Claudia. There's no one in the store. I buy $110 worth of rocks. And finally, my book comes up. We talk. She goes, "You know what? I'm going to keep your card and see what happens." So 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. And she says, "What can you do with kids?" I said, "Well, I got 200 pounds of polished stones." So 200 pounds of polished stones went on the ground, and I did farmers markets, festivals, and fairs there for like 5 years. And kids are sitting in 200 pounds of rocks, and I'm doing chakra readings with their moms. It was fabulous. And there was a beautiful woman singing every Friday off and on, and her name was Faye. And Faye came and did a reading with me. And I barely remember that part, but she took a tiger's eye stone home with her. And years go by, she did what she wanted. And that means going out and doing it. It doesn't mean thinking about it. It means doing things that you put down as your intentions. Great show, last show, Conscious Talk. Awesome. About your intentions. She wrote them down. Not only she started her own business, and now she has siren singing lessons at Country Village. She and the Sea Star are traveling. Her intentions were to go to Ireland. She's been to Ireland. Now she's been to Scotland, and she's going back to Scotland. She's going to be playing at my birthday party, June 8th, Kama Beach. We're going to celebrate 50 years of life on Earth with me. And so I tell Sherry, this is how I know her because of you and Bothell Country Village. And Sherry goes, "I used to play guitar. I used to write." And I'm like, "Really? Okay, guess what? Your prescription is you're going to come to my birthday party and you're going to sing me a song." So Sherry Reese, I look forward to that. Also, Luke and the Lovingtons. Here's the best part of it. Last week, I wanted to play some tunes from them. I put that aside. Did not know that Philippe Cagnete's one-year memorial was Saturday. He crossed over, and I'm a little teary-eyed because I didn't know until I went and saw him in July that he had crossed over. What a beautiful band. What a beautiful group of people. I invite you to go to YouTube, listen to their songs, buy their CDs, and support them. They are light workers traveling around doing wonderful work. I saw him in July in Everett, and that's when I found out about Felipe's crossing over. And I met Felipe at Bothell Country Village doing a reading with him because he was sitting next to me at his booth, and he had a CD for children called Singing with Senor, Sing with Senor, and he also was with Luke and the Lovingtons, and I did a beautiful reading with him and his wife, Katie. And what the reading came out with Felipe is that his heart was big. It was beautiful, and it was very hard for him to be here sometimes because he felt too much. And I have a lot of young men that have that issue. They feel so much, and it's very hard for them in society as they're growing up. But I bless him, and I know he's with us all the time. Felipe and his wife, Katie, and their baby, Rio. And I look forward to seeing the Lovingtons here soon. And today's show and your spirit lifting activity is about showing up. And so the song is Get Your Shoes Tied. It means every morning they're sitting there at the side of your bed. It's one thing to think about getting out into the world and doing it. It's another thing to open your heart and physically show up. So get your shoes tied, all right? Today, do something you've been thinking about, and let's get this party started. So today with me, I have David from Pack of Pride Guest Ranch. And
you can say his last name. Don't be shy.
Say it for me,
It's
Benny.
Capocci.
Capocci.
See how easy that is?
I love that name.
You didn't want to do it, I could tell.
It's because if you say something wrong once, you'll just say it
No,
again.
you learn quickly.
Capocci.
There you go.
David Capocci, bless his heart. I spent the night at Pack of Pride on Sunday, and it was pouring down rain, and I was in this yurt, and then the thunder, and I woke up to this beautifully fresh morning, and it was tremendous. And it was my day to get away, and I really enjoyed it. And David and I had coffee afterwards, and we were talking about what we're going to talk about today, about having an intention and showing up and physically manifesting your ideas here on planet Earth. So David, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. And in fact, it's all about making manifest the change you want to see in the world.
Yes, it is. And you showed me this chart, and there's kind of like, there's people thinking about doing it, and there's people out there doing it, and they're somewhere in the middle. And I think maybe I hope the show is about you finding that part where you go out and you do it. So David, tell us how you started Pack of Pride and what inspired you to do that.
Well, so interesting, in fact, coming from corporate America and seeing all the changes at the crossroads of America here back in 2004 or so. I had that typical corporate job. I was a senior IT strategist doing corporate change, managing organizational change, managing system development, life cycle models. We were seeing the turning point of America's economy. We were noticing jobs in IT were starting to get offshored and outsourced, and we just realized that a change was in the winds. And we wanted to basically kind of see what we could do and bring forth a positive change into the world, and this kind of escape the shackles of corporate America by, of all things, becoming our own corporation, taking charge of our own sort of destiny in a way. So we looked at our skill sets, and we just decided to parlay our experiences camping, believe it or not, in our own little yurt up on a very scenic highway, the National Scenic Byway known as the Mountain Loop Highway. It's only an hour from downtown Seattle, and we had been coming out here for many years as part of a private gay community campground known as Triangle Recreation Campground, bringing our own little yurt out there for our summer cottages. And it started our love of yurt camping and the Mountain Loop Highway. And that's when we discovered all this tourism traffic. The Mountain Loop Highway is one of the hidden gems of Snohomish County tourism. It is the most visited scenic destination out here, receiving over 250,000 cars per year. So we knew there was traffic out here, but it was all being served by hiking trails and primitive campgrounds. And we thought we'd bring our own spin on camping and compete with those campgrounds by bringing glamping to the picture, or glamorous camping, with our yurts, fully furnished yurts, bed and linens, electricity and heat, that kind of thing. Our goal was just to make camping easier. And then as we thought around that and we cogitated sort of how we were going to do this, we realized that coming out to the mountains meant more than just making a campground happen. We wanted to make manifest some of the changes that we were hearing about people speak. This was the time when the locavore movement was starting, when sustainability was kind of becoming a part of our lexicon, and you were hearing about people sort of wanting to buy local and do local and source their foods local. So it was sort of like a level of awareness was raising in our consumer behaviors about how disconnected we were from food sources and things, and nature for that regard. So we decided to kind of sort of package our campground via the reinvention of a family farm and let people come and actually stay on an operating farm in the mountains. And the key word there is a farm in the mountains there. Well, in the mountains, there happens to be sort of no agriculture value up here in the mountains. It's known, in fact, for one of two things other than tourism. It's known for logging and gravel. We've got quarries. In fact, on the way out to us, you pass 3 quarries out to the land that we started with. But after writing our business plan, and saying, let's reinvent this family farm, let's bring animals out here, let's reconnect people to nature, let's reconnect people to food sources, to the farm, let's bring that level of appreciation out there. We started looking for land, and what we found was 17 acres of previously logged property that could have been sold to the quarries that you pass here as a gravel pit. It had no ag value, and we had to start with that to make really healthy soils, to basically establish an alpine meadow out here and keep that cycle going. And that led us down the path to discover permaculture, which is certainly a non-conventional approach to farming. And as we delved into permaculture, it was natural to see the ties back to sort of my own corporate background in IT as an IT strategist managing change. All of the models that we used to discern requirements for IT systems, we were using, in fact, to discern the requirements for our new homestead system. And as we did so, we realized, wow, this is a way to kind of talk to the public about things as well and really connect them to the notions of sustainability. As the things that people were talking about, we just decided to go forth and actually show them in action.
Well, and I did a retreat there, and that's the first time I met you, and we were eating, and you were talking about the reason why we have clover and why we have black. I mean, that was my first exposure to any of this. You were just so fascinating. And then later on, you said, anybody want to hear some more? And I'm like, yeah, I never knew this is why about the lawns and why we don't have them, or why you don't have them.
Well, it's that lens of permaculture, really, which let me give you a definition of it. Permaculture really is sustainable land use design. It's based on ecological and biological principles, and it often uses patterns that occur in nature. We're just reconnecting to those patterns and recognizing why nature has them in existence. We want to maximize their effect and minimize the wasted energy from them. So we aim at creating stable, productive systems that not only provide for human needs, but also integrate us harmoniously to the land. It's the ecological process of plants, and animals and nutrient cycles. So when we start looking at the land, we no longer see sort of a lawn, kind of like the consumer lawn mentality of how we want to maintain a lawn. We start to see things as pastures, and indeed, not a conventional pasture where we just try to put grass in and then add fertilizers to it and get a quick burn on things, nice, short-term gratification there, and then start to have that dependency each year of putting fertilizers into the ground. Instead, permaculture takes the long view, and we start to see our pastures very differently. All of a sudden, new terms arise. Along with the grasses, we do have clovers, and those we know as nitrogen fixers, and most people kind of have that connection already, where they know that to have a good pasture of grasses, you want to add some clover in there because the clover feeds the grasses by fixing nitrogen. But we don't stop there. We actually add things like nutrient accumulator plants. And this is a big concept for people because most people look at the typical nutrient accumulator plants as what they call weeds, and they pick them out. Mm-hmm. When in fact, something like a dandelion, which is a great nutrient accumulator plant, actually helps feed and develop the mulch, the top layers, the organic matter of our soils. And it helps kind of create that cycle of building soil the way nature does, from the top down. Those nutrient accumulator plants have deep tap roots. They go to the subsoils farther down than grass roots can go. They pull up nutrients, and through a process of mineralization, they make these nutrients available to the top layers of the soil by storing them in their leaves. At the end of that cycle, in the wintertime when those leaves die, right now, that's all at the top of the surface there. We go beyond even nutrient accumulators, and we talk about carbon sequesters, those plants that can create a bunch of carbon on the surface of the soil for us. And that's great because we can sequester carbon, but it also provides organic matter. And organic matter is like rocket fuel for the grasses. And in fact, we try to even go beyond that and recognize, I have a funny saying. When we first went into this farm idea, we looked at the livestock and said, well, let's get alpacas because alpacas are, they're perfectly suited for a mountain environment. We're going to become alpaca farmers. And then we realized quickly thereafter that the truth of the matter was we were becoming grass farmers.
Yeah.
And in fact, it was sort of we used to tease, well, nobody told us we needed to be a grass farmer in order to kind of raise animals here. And that quickly led us beyond grass farming to recognize that below the grass there, it was all about microbes, the soil food web cycle. So my pat saying of nobody told me we were going to become grass farmers quickly became nobody told me we were going to become microbe factory farmers here. But that's indeed what we're doing. We are establishing these cycles in the soil food web so that we can maintain them. And then we plug the grazers, this herd of alpacas in there, and that helps us maintain this cycle of an alpine meadow. And as we do so, the grazers actually prevent this concept of succession going from an alpine meadow to, say, primary growth forest, which is the natural way that nature wants to progress things. So we maintain a cycle in balance with nature. The beautiful thing about permaculture and recognizing, taking this different lens on pasture development is it takes a lot less work on the human part. Permaculture is about factoring the human out and factoring nature back in.
And I love that.
Designing your farm accordingly.
And when I actually last May, I went and did a work stay, and I learned, again, 2 days of helping them with the chickens and the fodder and planning. So we're going to talk about that when we come back from this break, because that was a lot of fun for me. You're listening to Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie. We'll be right back with David.
Futuro ya está aquí. Si quieres salvar tu pellejo, muévete así. Tu corazón busca el camino que te hace feliz. Digo, please, at least leave the reason like it is. Don't you see we're here?
Soul Food Coffee House in Redmond features live music, the finest locally roasted organic coffee, pastries, sandwiches, independent books, and an amazing community to nourish your soul. Soul Food is a great nightly destination. Attend an open mic, poetry night, or listen to live local music, and all ages are welcome. If you can't be there, well, you can watch the events online. Check out their full calendar at soulfoodcoffeehouse.com. Soul Food Coffee House in Redmond is a big dose of community. Come on in and let your light shine.
Mark your calendar. Saturday, June 7th for an evening with Sea Star. The Seattle-based band performs a blend of both old and new, Celtic and folk combined. The lead singer, Faye Wiedenhoff, is equal parts storyteller and muse. On their return from touring Scotland and Ireland, they are performing in an intimate setting June 7th at 7:30 p.m. at Kenyon Hall in West Seattle. To purchase your tickets, go to kenyonhall.org or visit weareseastar.com and like Sea Star on Facebook to get all their upcoming tour dates.
Are you looking for the perfect place to get away from it all? At Hawaii Island Retreat, you will find peace and tranquility among the ancient stones and healing gardens. This eco-friendly, sustainable, full-service spa with luxury boutique-style accommodations is nestled in an elegant and tranquil setting. Among forests, organic gardens, and ocean breezes, this is the perfect place to reconnect with yourself and nature. Hawaii Island Retreat is a harmonious balance of elegance and sustainability along Hawaii Island's North Kohala coast. Plan your next getaway at Hawaii Island Retreat. Your mind, body, and spirit will thank you for it. Visit us at hawaiiislandretreat.com.
Don't touch that dial. You might miss something life-changing. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Ya no hay duda, ese es mi lema. El año 2012 en el futuro ya está aquí. Si quieres salvar tu pellejo, muévete así. Tu corazón busca el camino que te hace feliz. Digo, please, at least leave the reason like it is. Don't you see we're here? No basta pensar, tenemos que actuar.
Welcome back. You're listening to Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie. Today I'm talking with David Capocci from Pack a Pride Guest Ranch. Hello, David. Again, we're back.
Hi, Dina Marie. How you doing?
We're having a good party here in the studio, like we always do, right, Benny?
It is capocci.
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 You
Good
thought you
Italian
were
name.
so in the clear. I didn't want to
Capocci.
let you know.
I love you guys.
Go
Okay.
unnoticed.
So anyways,
Sorry, David. She's really trying. She really is.
it's kind of one of those things. So I just have to bring up my visit last May. It was, I think you probably posted on Facebook, and I love your Facebook page. So I'm always like sharing. But he said, oh, anybody, maybe April, but the weather wasn't very good. So May came along. I went for a couple days. I have stayed in the yurt. I've stayed in the house, and I've also stayed, I've tented there. I love all three. I mean, they're all great, just depending on the time of year. But I got all dirty, and David taught me how to do all kinds of like things that I never thought I was going to do. So give them a little run through of what you taught me those 2 days.
Well, yeah, and what we do here at a farm, again, is it's an operational working farm. It's a livestock operation in terms of the alpacas. We run a fiber herd here. We raise all male alpacas. We take the culled animals from other people's breeding herds, give them a life of fiber. So everything sort of is central around the fiber animals and around creating this ecology that we talked about via permaculture. And in order to do so, there are points in time in the year, especially during the spring and the fall season, where we've got some projects that come forth. And I like to tease. I think I've got both animal pastures and because of the hospitality side, we've also got what I tease as people pastures. And those people pastures, as you mentioned, allow people to come out here and camp on our green space via their own camping equipment. They can rent tent platforms to have a covered space. They could rent our fully furnished guest yurt or our larger roundhouse yurt for a larger family or meeting event retreat, that kind of thing. And in fact, our furnished guest room in the house has its own private bathroom for a more upscale experience. Given that, we try to plug folks that are staying here back into the homestead as much or as little as they wish to be plugged into. Sometimes folks just want to use this as base camp for their mountain loop experience, go off and explore the trails, and then have a place where they can put their head in a bed at night and know that when they leave their campsite, it's secure via a hosted campground. But for those other folks that want to come out to the farm and really be a part of it, we try to always plug people in. We realized that part of making manifest the change we wanted to see in the world was having the public be an integral part of this farm. So everybody who drives up here is not an interruption to our daily work, and you have to really recalibrate your thinking to really be interruptible in your daily chores out here to manage any public visitors that might stop on by who have that capacity to take away a nugget of knowledge or learn a new concept about farming that they've never been exposed to. And one way we do that as well is by offering some of these work-stay programs. It's the opportunity here where you can come stay at the ranch for free and put in a full-day labor with us on a certain project. And in your stay, Dina, we worked on some garden projects here. And the garden really ties everything back together with the ranch. It's a way of using our biggest harvest from our alpacas, the one I call black gold. It's their fertilizer or their poop, right? Mm-hmm. It's the best fertilizer under Cepalo bat guano in terms of quality out there. We can use it to grow some miraculous stuff out here in the mountains. We put a piece of plastic over it. It helps us to extend our growing season a little bit and prevent leaching in our soils from our wet winters in the grow beds. And we've got some stuff that just magically happens, it seems. And in fact, I say magical because really it's about the human being out of that picture as well. The garden practically runs itself. But at times, especially in the early parts of the spring, we do need to tend to those beds. And having some additional ranch hands join us for some garden projects, or sometimes during the later part of the season, we've got lumberjacking projects where we're going to collect firewood and we're appreciating how we're doing that in the forest. We show people a different lens of looking at our ecology. Remember, humans are part of this ecology. So we need our needs met as well as the animals' needs as well as nature's needs. So when we go out to the forest, for example, to our woodlot and harvest wood, we try to show people the context within which we're harvesting that wood there, that it's okay to cut down a tree every once in a while, but you got to do it correctly. You don't want to do a good clear cut of things, but you do want to selectively take out some trees so that the other ones can grow bigger. It's the same way we thin out, for example, carrots in our carrot bed so that we get some bigger carrots and not have tiny little ones all scrunched together growing in the same bed. So we provide all these opportunities to the public where they could come and join us for different things, whether it be a work-stay program or, for example, we show people some of their food sources. One thing we do is we run a chicken tractor each season. It runs for our spring and summer season, and the chicken tractor actually follows the herds grazing out in the pastures to complete the cycle of tilth building that we've got going on. And in our chicken tractor, a byproduct from that is actually meat. We raise rock Cornish cross meat birds out there for a very short duration. We want to show people that these are the chickens you're getting in the store when you buy poultry meat. A lot of people who come to visit us look at our beautiful egg layers. We've got 30 egg layers, 30 chickens in our chicken coop that lay fresh eggs that we also sell to the public. But in our chicken tractor, we raise our meat birds and our turkeys. And so when people come up and see my beautiful egg layers, they point to them and they go, "That's the chicken we eat in the store." And I'm like, no, that's not the chicken you eat. Come here, follow me. I'll show you the ones in the chicken tractor. These are the ones you get in the store, and it's amazing when they see that the chicken that we get in the store is very different than the pretty birds you would have in your head as an image there. They are a mutant crossbreed, in fact, that grows super fast for their own good and tend to fall over and die at about 6 to 8 months of age. And when people realize that, they're sort of shocked a little bit that, wow, we didn't realize this was our chicken we get in the store here. And it's why that label on the chicken in the store says young chicken. Literally, you're eating a 10-week-old to 2-month-old bird there. So it's definitely something that is an awareness-raising exercise. And part of that awareness-raising exercise is we allow people to plug into that chicken tractor by buying a live chicken. You can buy your own meat bird from us and take it with you to process or dispatch or slaughter yourself, if we want to kind of get really straightforward there. But we also coach you in that matter. So for another, you can buy a chicken and you can buy a coaching session as well, and we take you through the process of killing your chicken, cleaning it, and taking it home and cooking it. And we try to reconnect people back to things like that, back to your food source. It's an eye-opening exercise for sure, and it's not for the faint of heart, but it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime experiences that we get a lot of families that want to reconnect to their food source and just show kind of where your meat comes from. And one way to do it is with our chickens and our turkeys here. We've had great success with that.
Or another way is to have David say, "See that turkey that you were here last year? You're eating them."
That's right.
He's serving up this beautiful dish with turkey. But it is, it's very important to get in touch with food. When I tell my grandson at 4 that that's a cow and that's where your hamburger comes from, he's like, no way does my food come from that cow.
Well, and even as simple as when people come up here and they look at our garden beds and I pull a carrot out of the ground and see the surprised look on the kids' faces when they go, "What's that?" I say, "It's a carrot." And they go, "But you took it out of the ground."
Yeah.
And I said, "Yeah, and here, this will blow your mind further. That's not ground. That's alpaca poop it's growing in." And they're like, face planting, and they are mind blown at that point in time.
And it's really,
realizing that the carrot grew in alpaca compost.
Yeah, and it's really for us to go backwards to move forward. We've gone too far into that grocery store plastic wrap, this and that, disconnected. So really going to Pack of Pride reconnects you, and it did that for me. Sitting in the gardens, and then David would say, "Oh, this is seed. Oh, this carrot went to seed, and this is going to be seed for next year." I don't know any of that, and I'm just, wow, I should know this. And then I got chickens pecking here, pecking there, and he's telling me he's eating that, and that does this, and just I'm seriously sitting in a garden in dirt. I'm filthy, and this chicken's right next to me, hanging out, and David is educating me. And if nothing else, that is why I encourage people to go there, is just to reconnect with nature. And David is so wise, and he does it in such a fun, playful way, but you're learning, like we'll talk about the fodder next, and what a beautiful experience for me to see how it's grown from beginning to the end, and then how it's fed to the alpacas. So we're going to take another break. We'll be right back with David after this short break, and we'll talk more about Pack a Pride Guest Ranch.
Get your shoes tied. Pack your bags up. Moving through the world with love from the nation. Get your shoes tied.
Aunque yo nací en un barrio muy lejano, llegué a este mundo como ser humano. Comencé hablando el castellano, hoy me mueve el corazón en mi lenguaje más cercano.
This June, get out and experience island time for a change. Camino Island is closer than you may think and easily accessible by bridge. Come for a fun, relaxing day or the entire weekend. Spend Saturday, June 7th from 10:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the 2014 Youth Fishing Derby at Kama Beach State Park Center for wooden boats. The shore fishing class begins at 10:30 and the Youth Fishing Derby begins at noon. Registration is free and there are prizes for all age groups. No Discover Pass or fishing licenses are required, and be sure to check out the discounted rowboat rentals at only $20 during the Derby. For more information, visit cwb.org. That's cwb.org. Or call 360-387-9361. Island Time. It's just a short drive away.
Lift your spirits with Dina Marie and friends. Saturday, June 7th, 10 to 3 p.m. at the Wellness Connection. Wellness professionals from the Stanwood, Camino Island, and Arlington areas will host this event. From alternative medicine to physical fitness, they are bringing the area's top professionals together for a day of celebration and inspiration. Guest teachers and speakers will lead demonstrations in healthy cooking, fitness, health awareness, and much more. These classes are free to the public and will run throughout the day. For more information about the Wellness Connection, sponsored by Studio Z in Stanwood Commons, call 425-212-8205, like us on Facebook, or visit liftyourspiritswithdinamarie.com. We look forward to connecting with you.
Come and get your passport to discover the real Camino Island at Summerfest on Saturday, June 7th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Summerfest is a community event featuring local businesses and organizations on Camino Island. There will be music, food, and fun for the entire family. Find out about obtaining your free passport to discover the real Camino Island at the event. Visit vendors to have it stamped and enter a drawing for a beautiful glass vase created by local glass artist Mark Ellinger of Glass Quest, valued at $150. Visit the Camino Island Marketplace to enjoy an organic coffee with a gluten-free muffin from Shambhala Bakery, or indulge in a rich and delicious homemade chocolate. The Collective on Tap will be open at their new location on the island and will be presenting the best-of-breed craft beer from Washington Brewmasters. If a glass of Chardonnay is your beverage of choice, stop by the Wine Garden to lift your spirits. Summerfest will take place at the Commons at Terry's Corner on Camino Island. For more information, go to CaminoIsland.org.
1150kknw.com. It's why they invented the internet. We think. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
Todos compartimos este sueño de la tierra, ya no somos dueños. Camino pelado, siento el pato en mis pies, estoy honrado de conectar con la naturaleza.
Welcome back. You're listening to Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie, and I'm with David Capocci. Woohoo! Party on, Garth. Party on, Wayne. Okay, David, let's talk about fodder. And it was beautiful. I just experienced that for the first time, had no idea what fodder was. But take us from the beginning to the end to that beautiful green that we feed the alpacas.
Yeah, definitely. One of our biggest success in terms of our permaculture approach here has been thinking outside of the box. And indeed, we do the same thing with how we care for our herd of lovely alpacas out here. One of the biggest dilemmas that livestock owners have is that the cost of hay has been rising exponentially these last couple of years. It's been shipping overseas. We've had major droughts everywhere, so that cost of hay has been going up. And the traditional winter feed up here in the Pacific Northwest, where you don't have pasture for 5-6 months out of the year, that's half a year right there, the traditional feed approach has been hay coupled with pellets, bags of pellets. What is a bag of pellets? It's another processed food product for animals, right? And you know what they say about processed foods these days for humans or animals. In fact, we try to get back to the source of our food, the raw stuff, and start there and maybe do our own processing to kind of take out those preservatives, fillers, additives, etc. So we had that dilemma. We had the dilemma of feeding hay, finding good quality hay for a good price, and then having to feed pellets as a supplement because the hay was only so much nutritious. It's dried grass, right? And that took us through a couple winters, but it wasn't sustainable for us. It was rather cost prohibitive in that regard. And so we had to look towards other solutions in here. And so we turned towards Australia, places where they don't have forage, and we saw that they were actually sprouting microgreens for their animals in places where they just didn't have any grazing available to them. And we were like, what the heck is this fodder microgreen thing? And we discovered it was just, of all things, the simplest of things to do. You're taking a grain, a cereal grain like barley or wheat or triticale or cereal rye, and you're sprouting it. And you're feeding that lush, fresh sprout to your animals. The beautiful thing about sprouting, a sprouting application, as you know, you go down your grocery aisle, you'll see all these sprouts, and what do they tell you? Sprouts are super healthy for animals, are super healthy for humans, they're also super healthy for animals too. And so we took that kind of page from our organic playbook and, cancer prevention and antioxidant playbook here, and we just said we're going to add it to our animals' diet as well. And so we started sprouting barley, and we do so in a 9-day process through a hydroponic grow room that we've got in our barn. It turns 5 pounds of grain into 25 pounds of super sprouts, fresh microgreens, in a 9-day process. So from seed to feed in 9 days. And we get 25 pounds of feed to feed our animals from those 5 pounds of grain that we started with. The best part about it is that barley grain is another grain that's traditionally used in those pelleted grain rations. Whether crushed, cracked, or whole, they put it in pellets. They add other things to it. But in that form, as a grain, crushed, cracked, or whole, it is only 25% digestible to the animal. That means about 75% gets pooped out the back end, if you know what I mean, right? So when we sprout it all of a sudden, that 25% digestibility changes to 90% digestibility. And not only does it change to be highly digestible, it's also highly palatable to the animals. And we've got a conversion happening. We've got bioavailable nutrients and minerals. And the best part is we've got protein in there rather than starches and carbohydrates, right? We've got good protein content. So one of the main things we turn to good quality hays for is its protein content. Well, my protein content on my barley sprouts is between 16 and 18%, and that's ideal for the animals I'm feeding here. But the best part about feeding barley fodder, these fresh microgreens to our animals, is the reduction in hay consumption we experience, 40 to 50% hay reduction. So my 6-month supply of hay that I was buying turns into 9 to 12 months supply of hay because the animals no longer are eating all of that hay to eke out the nutrition they need. And the even better part about it is pellets are no longer part of their diet. So our main diet during our wintertime becomes barley fodder, fodder mats, fresh sprouted microgreens for our herd, and hay as a source of fiber and roughage rather than as a primary source of their nutrition. And once we put this into place, we realized we struck gold with this. And it was amazing to see our results. We've had such wonderful success about it. And again, following our whole model of our homestead being an example to the public, a demo farm to the public of our principles, we published everything we knew about our experience and with fodder on our blog. And our YouTube channel has a video of our fodder room. You can go see the actual chores being done in that. And we shared all of that. And that has led to people across the country contacting us of how they can set up their own do-it-yourself system to grow sprouted microgreens for their herds. In fact, it's led us to a new revenue stream where we're selling the grow trays that we use in our system and helping people to set up a very similar system, different scales of operation depending on the size of their herds that they're feeding and the animals that they're feeding in there. But we've positioned others to become just as successful with our approach by sharing all of our information with the public. And it has paid us back in spades because now we have a new revenue stream here at the ranch supporting us. And it's all because we decided to share our experience with the public and show folks how they, too, can save money on their hay, eliminate pellets from diets, and sprout microgreens for their herd.
And you know why I like
fantastic.
fodder? And I like the process. It just hit me because it starts as something, an idea, a seed, and you actually see it manifest in physical form, and you feed it to the alpacas. And I was thinking about you starting your the ranch and how that started as an idea, and how the show is basically about, you know, a seed thought, right? Something, and then all of these things that David has done at the ranch all started as an idea, and look what comes out of it. Now he's going to help other people with maybe they don't have the inspiration that David has right now or the heart to put into it, but he can help other people, you know, feed their alpacas. And I don't know, I just thought that was awesome because I saw you wash the seed or the barley. I saw you know, the process. The pictures I took are awesome. I should post them on your Facebook page today. But just seeing from beginning to end something that is really from your heart. It's just a beautiful thing.
And people can see that same thing on our YouTube channel. We've got a video out there. You can watch me do the chores in the fodder room and see us harvest those same mats as well. We also offer tours. Farm tours here are always free, and we are willing to take you out and show you all of the stuff. We hope that everybody leaves with some nugget of knowledge from the ranch when they come visit us.
And you can take your kayak there.
Yeah, we've got actually... You've got to be a really good kayaker.
Yeah,
I have to say.
A professional kayaker.
We are good kayakers out here because they run the Robe Canyon, which is right accessible from the ranch. A 20-minute walk from us here is their put-in spot. And we host the kayakers that come out here. We allow them to park out here, again, kind of keep their cars safe from any prowling or vandalism that might come from typically parking cars at trailheads. And so we give them a safe place to park, and they go with their kayaks down to the river.
And you could do a retreat there because he has the bigger yurt. You can spend the night just middle of Sunday was beautiful. Great
That's right.
time.
We do private ranch rentals as well. You can have the whole place to your group. Bring out your church group, your family group, big family reunions. Bring out a group of friends. We can host you. And
how do people get a hold of you, David?
Sure. Everything about us, of course, is online these days. Our main website is pacapride.com. Let me spell that for you, PACAPRIDE.com. There's a link on there to our blog where you can learn all of the referential material that we've talked about, including fodder, which is our most popular topic out there. There's also our YouTube channel out there. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook, Pack Up Pride Guest Ranch. Go out there and like us. We're always announcing our events and upcoming attractions on our Facebook page. I will make mention that there's one big one coming up here, Dina Marie, and that is June 21st and 22nd. It's the annual haircuts for the herd. Our Shearing Fest here we've got going on, and it's open to the public. Starts at 10 a.m. both Saturday and Sunday, June 21st and 22nd. Come on out, bring a picnic lunch, come see an alpaca be shorn, then go tour the rest of the mountain loop as well.
And you will love those alpacas, the best pictures ever. Bring your kids, bring the whole family. It's great. Well, David, thank you for hosting me on Sunday, and I look forward to, I'll be seeing you soon, I'm sure of it. All right, have a great day.
Yay.
Bye. Next up, Anastasia Isis Davis from the Big Island of Hawaii will be discussing growth and transformation. You're listening to Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie. Sit tight. We'll be right back.
Pacapride Guest Ranch is reinventing the camping retreat experience with rustic resort comfort, from spaces for tent camping to completely furnished yurt accommodations that will inspire even a non-camper to stay. This summer, enjoy upscale camping along the famous Mountain Loop Highway with alpacas setting the pastoral scene. Pacapride's large roundhouse yurt is a nice change for your next meeting or event. Come experience serenity and enjoy the mountain views. Pacapride Guest Ranch is located on the scenic Mountain Loop Highway 55 miles from downtown Seattle. Visit pacapride.com or call 360-691-3395 to plan your next overnight getaway.
Are you passionate about living a healthy and more balanced lifestyle? If so, Seattle Natural Awakenings magazine was created for you. Seattle Natural Awakenings is a free monthly publication full of information on fitness for the whole body, mind, and spirit. And it is your go-to magazine for local events, classes, and retreats. You can find Seattle Awakenings at health food stores, educational centers, libraries, and wherever free publications are generally seen. Or get the latest issue online at seattleawakenings.com. If you are the owner of a green, healthy, and socially responsible business, we invite you to promote your natural holistic product or services with Seattle Natural Awakenings. We reach over 40,000 readers interested in healthy living in the greater Seattle area. Call 425-350-5448 for more information.
Seattle Creative Arts Center, located on Market Street in Ballard, is the place to transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Owners Chris and Malaya Gibson offer combined experience in music, composition, lighting, art, sound recording, and teaching. It is the perfect venue for your upcoming event, fundraiser, or live performance. For rates and availability, call 206-297-6001 or visit seattlecreativearts.com. Seattle Creative Arts Center also offers guitar, bass, and piano lessons for all ages and levels. Explore your musical talents with Seattle Creative Arts Center today.
When you're ready to publish your book, go to Snohomish Publishing. Their reliable printing company offers a wide array of self-publishing services to take your work from the computer screen to the printed product. They can even work from a typed manuscript and handwritten materials. As the author, you are in control of the entire self-publishing process, including editing, designing the cover, and interior. Make their locally family-owned and operated company your source for expert printing services. Call 360-568-1242 or visit snohomishpublishing.com.
No shirt, no shoes, no problem. Come as you are. Alternative Talk, 1150 AM.
We got this feeling. Get your shoes tied.
Welcome back. You're listening to Lift Your Spirits with Dina Marie. In January, I visited the big island of Hawaii, and I met a beautiful young woman named Anastasia. I got up early at Hawaiian Island Retreat. I did my running, and I was walking by, and I could hear women giggling, and I kind of thought I heard music. And there was a bunch of butterflies. So I went over there. I got to get a picture of the butterflies. And a beautiful Anastasia, now I know her name, she comes running up, and she shows me something that I never would have saw. But she lifts up a leaf, and I see a caterpillar. And she tells me the story about the caterpillar and the butterfly. And I'm like, beautiful young lady. And so I go back to my room, and then I have my voice say, hey, you should go into town for an hour or so. I'm like, I don't really want to go, but I go anyways. And who's at the top of the hill but Anastasia? Beautiful little hitchhiker. And like we talked about last week, you can do this in Hawaii. She gets in the car, and my rocks are there. So she sees the rocks. And by the time we get into town, we're doing a chakra reading. And Anastasia is beautiful, and her chakras are all spinning except for her third eye. And that is your vision and what you're focusing on. So I'm going to welcome Anastasia to the show from the big island of Hawaii.
Hello, good morning.
Aloha, Anastasia.
Aloha. How's it?
She's up and awake and ready to go at, 4 a.m. maybe?
It's like 5:45.
Okay.
It's good.
Bless you. All right. Well, Anastasia, how's it going with your third eye? Are you still tuning it up?
Yeah, it's going well. I've been doing a lot of self-work and self-practice. I'm actually doing I don't know if you heard of it, but it's #100 Happy Days. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of my new goal. And it's really changed my perspective and my attitude of how I'm focusing on gratitude no matter what's going on. And it's making me focus on the present moment, not worrying about yesterday, not worrying about tomorrow, but just right here, right now. And as you were talking about with, the Paca Pride Farm of manifestation, it's all, it all syncs up together.
And what are you grateful for right now?
Oh, man. Besides being in paradise, I think I'm grateful for my higher consciousness and being able to own my own divine feminine power and manifesting my reality. And if there's one common thread that is there for so many people that come here, it's that manifestation. Like, they come to Hawaii, and anything that all of your truths are going to come up for you. Like, it's your individual experience, and that's for everyone who comes here. And so, you know, you really go through your own transformation, and everything, all the people that come into your life come in at the right time for the right reasons to show you new truths and other mirror reflections of yourself. And it's amazing to know that we all have this light and this power inside of us, but connecting with the island and connecting with the goddess Pele really has just sharpened all of those skills and tools, I think, that maybe we have unconditioned ourselves or forgotten, per se.
Well, and intentions. And so the chakra work, you have your intentions, and then the third eye is focusing on present moment, your inner voice, intuition, throat chakra, heart. Put your heart into it, and you've been playing music, so I know that keeps your heart open.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. I've been doing open mics and stuff like that around the island. Not too much gigging, but I am working on a new album. You can listen to some of my music on SoundCloud, www.soundcloud.com/Anastasia Davis.
And she's got a beautiful voice, and now my throat chakra is going to block. It's all good, but when when you have an idea and you focus on it, and you put your throat and your music into your heart. We were playing Luke and the Lovingtons, but when you put your heart into what you do, you're really using your chakras. And so when Anastasia counts her blessings and she sees what's working in her life, things manifest quicker. But when you do go to Hawaii, it is paradise. But people go there and their stuff comes up. So when you showed me the caterpillar and I saw the butterfly, I always focus on the butterfly. Yay, yay, butterfly. But you know what? That caterpillar had to go through a lot to get those wings spread to fly. And it takes effort. Positive growth requires effort and the will to change. Are you willing to change? Yes, you are.
Absolutely. I mean, I grew up in foster care and group homes and didn't really have much. I put myself, through higher education, and I'm here now. It's now a year after I graduated, and I went out there and I was looking for an adventure. I was looking for opportunities just so that I could expand and grow. I didn't like the place that I was at. After I graduated, I had just gotten out of a serious relationship. I'm like, okay, what now? And I, went out. I went to British Columbia. I did work trade. I was involved with the energy exchange program, WOOF, and the soil apprenticeship. And I started, just getting closer to the land and getting closer to the source. And that really just brought me closer to myself. And it allowed me to hold true to my integrity and to really, I think, being 25 and growing up so fast with so much independence, I'm just like, I know what I want. I totally know what I want, and I want to go for it. But at the same time, I've been lacking this, patience. And that's, so key, is this patience and not being attached to necessarily when the outcome is going to happen or how it's going to happen, but just having trust and faith in myself, my own capabilities, and also in the universe, the creator, that everything is working out exactly how it's meant to in the time that it's meant to. Because even though it's not ideal that, we want these things when we want them, and may not get them when we want them, it's all meant to teach us the lessons to, continue to build us up so that we are ready, and all the hardships in our life are coming because we're capable of learning those lessons. We're capable of dealing and coping. And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to be present and to be working on patience and to know, and now that I know how to read my own chakras, I do that probably a couple of times a week now.
Good for you.
Just to make sure that I'm practicing and it's working, and it's not just my third eye, even though, I have family and I'm probably the most creative person in my family, and I have a brother who's in the military, and he is discharged now. He's a veteran, and he's just struggling so much, with the lifestyle and everything. And I was telling him about this 100 happy days, and he was like, "Oh yeah, right, that's cool for you." And I was like, "Well, why don't you try it?" And he's just like, "Because I'm generally not a happy person." I was like, "Yeah, I don't believe that."
Well, guess
I really don't believe it.
Our energy matters, doesn't it? It does.
It absolutely does.
And I have to read something because I think of Anastasia when I see this. If a dream is pure enough and the dreamer unselfish, the dream will come true. And there's one thing I know about Anastasia. She's got a big heart, and I love her dearly. And you're going to come visit me, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to say aloha, and I would love to hold you right now, and we can go dancing one of these days and sing one of your songs.
Oh, that's so great.
But Anastasia, you're going to come see me. I can
I will,
feel it in my heart. Okay, aloha, and I'll see you soon.
Aloha. Thank you so much. Mahalo nui.
Bye-bye, Anastasia. All right, next up, next week at 8 a.m., you're going to talk to Mona from Northwest Canopy Tours, and we're going to be talking about zip lining and how to feel the fear and do it anyways. And I invite all of you to get your shoes tied right now, get out there, take one of your ideas, and manifest it here on Earth. Have a wonderful week. God bless.